Is Pat Surtain the front runner for Defensive Player of the Year? We're breaking that down, talking about his candidacy, and taking a big picture look on where the Broncos stand right now. And it all starts now. Is PS2 number one in terms of Defensive Player of the Year? We're going to break it down inside the DNVR Bar in the Toyota Lounge, driven by your local Front Range Toyota stores, presented by Bet365. We are the DNVR Broncos Podcast with Super Bowl 50 champ Todd Davis, Henry Chisholm, you here behind the camera, and yours truly, Zach Stevens, rocking and rolling with you today. And we were supposed to be joined by Pat Surtain today, but at the very last minute, he has some community service pop up. So he is actually at the hospital, meeting with, I believe, Children's Hospital right now, meeting with the kids. So can't blame him for that. We will have Pat on very soon, but just want to mention that. But in honor of PS Tuesday, we will still talk about the GOAT, Pat Surtain. Fellas, how you doing?
I'm feeling good,
Yeah.
Was excited to have Pat on, but I think charity is like one of the best things you can do in the world. Like, it's important to give back to the community, especially Denver, man. They do so much to support us. I think it's great that he's out there doing charity and helping out kids.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You really can't say,
what more
like,
can you do?
Pat, choose us. Because that would make you sound like a really bad person.
I wouldn't even choose us over like,
Exactly. So. Also, is that a little tequila lemonade over there?
No, it's too early.
Oh.
Maybe a little bit later.
Oh, okay. Just lemonade.
What time? Just afternoon?
Yeah, afternoon. So after, football practice or taekwondo, like after the practices. I'm not the parent that goes drunk with a canteen to practice.
That's probably
maybe
good.
Someday.
And then, just a couple sips.
Because, you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. So I guess you're not day drinking
That's
today.
true. Yeah. No.
Although hockey starts today. Well, I mean, they had like the game in Sweden or whatever, but they've got games starting at 2:30 today. You also have playoff baseball today. It's like a decent day to be day drinking.
Hockey. I don't know. Day drinking feels like a summer thing.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a Tuesday thing.
Yeah,
to
not
me.
Tuesday thing.
No. Instead,
Tuesdays
we'll
can be in the
celebrate
summer.
with PS Tuesday.
There are Tuesdays in the summer.
Talking about Pat Surtain. Guys, should he be the front runner for Defensive Player of the Year?
I don't see why not. Everything that you need to be Defensive Player of the Year, he's already accomplishing. First, you need to be top 2 at your position, and we all believe he's number 1 at that position. You have to have incredible stats, which he does against some very, very good wide receivers. And then you have to be making game-changing plays. 100-yard interception, another 2 picks in one game. Like, that's how you build the resume to make Defensive Player of the Year. It's easier for outside linebackers to get it because the sacks are so highly... they're obvious, and people love to see them.
Yep.
Like PBUs, you don't get as much love for a PBU as you do with a sack.
Yep.
So those sacks and sack fumbles make it easier for outside linebackers to get them. But you start getting picks, interceptions, start scoring on defense, I think you should really, really be looked at as in the running for Defensive Player of the Year for sure.
Well, and Todd, to play off of that, I think that sacks and interceptions are more closely aligned in terms of like how they're viewed publicly. But it's a lot easier to get sacks.
Easily.
Like, you've seen some guys get to 20 sacks in a season. It's rare. You've never seen a player get to 20 interceptions.
20 interceptions in
Pat's
a
gonna do
season.
it.
You might as well give him a gold jacket.
Yeah, 100, just right there.
Yeah.
If it happens just once, they get that Hall of Fame jacket. So you're right. It is unfair as a cornerback, as a non-outside linebacker, you do just simply start at a disadvantage. I agree.
Yeah. I mean, Pat's in great position. He should probably should be the favorite, but should be at least in the running. You look around, though, Xavier McKinney already has 5 picks. 5 picks in 5 weeks. I mean, if you're just handing the award out today, there's argument to be made like, hey, Pat's been locking guys down, and he absolutely has. But, I think long term, Xavier McKinney probably isn't keeping the pick per game pace up. So I guess Pat could probably be the front runner. Aiden Hutchinson sitting there with 6.5 sacks through 5 games. That probably isn't. You can make the case for Pat right now, So yeah, I think Pat long term, you give it to him right now.
Aiden is playing well, but he got 5 sacks in one game.
Yeah, he had 4.5 in one game. 2 games, he's had 1 sack. So if he's able to keep this pace up, that means he either has more 4.5 sack games or he just literally has a sack and a half each and every game. And you know what? If he does that, because he has 6.5 sacks through 5 games right now, if he does that, he's going to break the sack record likely. And then, he probably should have that. But I think there's one other major piece that neither of you guys have brought up. You should be on a great defense in order to win this award.
Yeah.
Like, if you are that good, you are impacting your defense and helping your defense that much, unless, let's just say, all 10 other guys around you suck and you truly are the best defensive player in the NFL. But just typically to be a front runner, like, you're not seeing MVPs being won by guys that don't make the playoffs, quarterbacks that don't make the playoffs. No, that's kind of a requirement, whether it's right or wrong. You got to be part of a great defense. Pat Surtain is part of arguably the best defense in the NFL right now. Not arguably a top 5 defense in the NFL. By many metrics, they're either the top or the second best defense in pretty much every single statistical category, at least the important ones. So I think that the 3 biggest things are you got to have a great defense. You have to be part of a great defense, I should say. You are elite at your position, and then you have to be making the game-changing plays. And we saw the game-changing play this past week, and Pat hits all of those requirements. He's by far the best cornerback in the NFL. Maybe some people question that coming into the season. That's not questioned anymore, and not just from a local perspective. Did you guys see the clip of Kay Adams yesterday on her show? She said Pat Surtain is not only the best cornerback in the NFL right now, she said he's the best cornerback of our generation.
Wow.
And when you take a step back and look at it, like, Sauce has had one great year. He's been in the league 3 years now. He hasn't stacked those on top. He's been really good. But Pat has been all-pro as a second-year guy, and now he's only getting better. This is the best season he's had by far. And he's already had a Pro Bowl season, an all-pro season. So I don't think she's off on that.
I think she's right. Well, what's our generation?
That's a tough
Where
part.
does our generation
How far
start?
do you want to go back?
I mean, Stephon Gilmore's still playing.
Stephon Gilmore,
I don't think he's bad.
generational
Not right now.
A
Not right
generational
now.
cornerback
I
doesn't bounce
don't
around.
think Stephon was ever this good.
No.
Stephon was
Really?
really good. I don't know if he was ever this good.
I mean,
this
he
good?
won a Defensive Player of the Year. He's the only corner in the past. I don't even know how long.
But that's
I can
what I'm
check.
saying. Like, I feel like to be a generational corner, don't you have to do it for more than a 3-year stretch like he did?
I mean, Pat's only been in the league 3 years. I guess this is the 4th.
It does
But,
take some
yeah.
projecting, but I don't see any reason why Pat's going to fall off. Like I said, he's only
No.
getting better right now. He's 24 years old. He still has another decade in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, who are the other corners
Revis,
recently?
Darrell Revis, but that's a little bit older.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Kay actually brought Revis up and said that she is our generation's Darrell Revis.
Which actually
put
is,
him in that
he
category.
is.
Pat
it's
is.
actually
Yeah.
really, really offensive because Champ Bailey was better than
I
Darrell
know.
Revis and
I
was that
agree.
same generation.
I agree.
But I
So
think
it kinda undoes
Champ,
the-
Champ
Yeah.
feels a little older than Darrell, though.
I think they had
Slightly.
a decent
Slightly,
amount of
right?
overlap.
2 years, 3, something like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
That is offensive.
So Kay, I appreciated the first part, but then she kind of counteracted it with the
But it's tough because Champ, I don't think Champ had a nickname. He was just always Champ.
Champ
Champ is
is
his nickname.
No, I know, but that's what everybody called him from start. Like
Yeah.
Darrell Revis came into the league as Darrell Revis, and that
Yeah.
morphed into Revis Island.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The
I think
marketing
that's
was
why.
good. He was
the
in New
marketing
York.
is good.
Yep.
Yeah.
And just like Sauce Gardner, although that is his nickname, but it's also like kind
Wow.
of his name that he's had for a long time nickname. So it's almost like Champ.
Yeah.
That's the
Um,
difference.
And
Sauce is Champ, but everybody's going to get hyped about PS2. Well, yeah, I mean, they're better, but in terms of marketing, PS2, because Sauce, people get bored of the name Sauce. That's like Champ.
no,
PS2
I
is
think,
Revis Island.
I think Sauce has the the things that don't matter in his favor, like playing in New York. That shouldn't matter. It does help. Sauce, he came into the NFL and was like very much known as that. Yesterday, Pat McAfee, PS2 was on Pat McAfee. Pat asked if PS2 had a nickname. It's like,
yeah, it's dumb.
come on, Pat. I like Pat McAfee, but come on. You can't have the guy on your show and not know that he's PS2.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly, PS2 doesn't carry that much weight outside of Broncos country right now. We need to get that going. How do people not know PS2? He's the best cornerback in the NFL. He should be the front runner for a defensive MVP.
He should.
And we don't have people know that that's his nickname? What are we doing here?
They haven't been watching PS Tuesdays, man. They've been sleeping.
Wow.
Wake them up.
And I think this the other thing that you need to win Defensive Player of the Year, you need national recognition, and it's game-changing plays that get you that. Pat Surtain, on everything that I've watched since the Broncos game, that's been the play of the game that they show from the Broncos game. From a national perspective, people are talking about him. Now people are going back and saying, wait, this guy locked down DK Metcalf, locked down George Pickens, locked down
Mike Evans.
Mike Evans, the best one of the bunch. Locked down Garrett Wilson, scared Devontae Adams to not play in this game. Had 2 picks against the Raiders. And the crazy thing is his second interception, the one that's not talked about as much, which is totally understandable because the other one was a 100-yard pick six, the second longest in Broncos franchise history. His second his second interception, probably his most impressive interception in the NFL this year by anyone, and probably his most impressive interception since being in the NFL. He's covering Brock Bowers, who, you want to talk generational. He might be a generational tight end when all is said and done. I know it's way too early to say that, but he looks really good. Had a 55-yard touchdown earlier in the game against the Broncos. He's covering him as a tight end. Gets the pass breakup, is the one to hit the ball in the air. Then he picks it off. Unbelievably difficult, and he did it all himself.
Yeah, like we said, he's a generational talent. The things he's able to do on the football field, it's great. It's great to watch. It makes it fun to watch because you never know what's going to happen, but you also know he's going to get PBUs, create plays, and now that he's making game-changing plays, like there's nothing stopping him from being, the best corner of our generation, like Kay Adams said.
Yep. Even though we all agree about this, I'm just heated about it that people don't give him the respect he deserves.
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
wild. That's wild. You could. The league has blinders on sometimes. Sometimes you only know about the guys in your area or on your team. You don't get to see everybody. So sometimes the league has blinders on unless you have great marketing that gets your name kind of all across the country, which I don't know why, Pat's name wouldn't be, but this is weird to know.
I think it's because let's dive into that because I think it's a really good point. And then let's actually look at Defensive Player of the Year odds after I give a shout out to our friends over at Toyota. Something that would calm me down right now is going and sitting in a 4Runner, sitting in a Land Cruiser and just cruising around town in a beautiful Toyota. Guys, I saw another Supra, Henry's favorite car, a yellow one. I kid you not. Every time I see him, I'm like, oh, what is that? And I'm like, oh, damn, that's a Supra. So if you want a sports car, they probably a more affordable sports car than other sports cars. That is one that you should be looking at. If you want a truck, they've got the Tundra, the hybrid Tundra as well, and then everything in between from sports cars to massive, strong trucks. They've got every single car that you like, including my favorite right now. I think the Land Cruiser has jumped the 4Runner in my book as my favorite Toyota right now. So they just brought it back this year. And if you want to get your hands on a Toyota, test drive one, check one out, and see why it's the best car out there, check out your local Front Range Toyota store at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corbin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Henry. Where's Stevenson Toyota West?
Arvada.
Lakewood. Jeez. Toyota, the official automotive partner of the NFL and the official vehicle of DNVR. Shout out you here for knowing that.
There you go. And shout out to our friends over at Empire Today. If you guys are looking for new flooring and you want the best flooring possible, you got to hit up Empire Today. With Empire Today, you get shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a price match guarantee. And what I love most about Empire Today is there's a lot of options, a lot of different types of flooring, a lot of different textures, and you want to be able to see how your flooring will look in your home without buying it. So you can go get like that small little sample and put it on your floor and say, hey, does this work? Or you can just use their virtual floor designer, and it's a great way to see how new floors will look in any space. It's easy. Just snap a picture and instantly see how new floors will look in your home. This is perfect. You won't be upset. You won't have to have the guys come and install the floors and then rip them out because you don't like them or it doesn't match the plan. You'll know exactly how your floors will look in your home, and you'll make the perfect choice. And if you schedule a free in-home estimate today, all listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use promo code DNVR. Remember, restrictions apply. You got to see empiretoday.com/DNVR for details.
And shout out to our friends over at Bet365. Use that code DNVR365 when you sign up to get the offers. We got a lot of thumbs up. Let's keep them coming in. And on last Thursday's show, Todd, we said the thumbs up that we got on the show was going to be Bo Nix's passing yards. What are the thumbs up in today's show? What does that equate to, guys?
Making people happy.
No, that's a terrible one.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, no.
Let's go like Javante's rushing yards.
Let's go like historic Javante rushing yards this coming weekend.
I think so.
What's the rushing record? And what's the single game rushing record? Yeah, here's going to look that up for us. And when he's looking
Probably
that
somebody
up,
from like the 1950s with like 500 yards.
Still Adrian Peterson?
Yeah.
I don't know. Adrian Peterson's got to be up there.
I'm going to go Adrian Peterson, 256.
In what game? What year?
Oh, how old was I?
What team?
Vikings.
Yeah.
It's probably 2012 then. That was the year that he stole the MVP from Peyton.
Okay. Well, there we go. We'll stick with that. I almost thought it was rookie year, but we'll go with that one.
All right. Any more guesses?
You want to go rookie year? You can go rookie year.
I just don't even know when that would be. I'll go 2012.
Okay. So Adrian Peterson has 296.
296.
Oh, 50 gosh.
November 4th against the Chargers, 2007.
2007.
Was rookie
He
year.
also
It
broke
was
the
rookie
second
year.
half record with 253 yards in the second half by itself.
Wow.
So he only had 40 yards in the first half and broke the record at almost 300.
Correct.
And guess who the Broncos play this week?
Chargeezys.
Yeah. Javante could do it.
In that same vein, in NCAA record, it's Samaje Perine
It is.
with
Like-
427 rushing yards in
Yeah.
2014.
Doesn't it suck to see him succeed? And that sounds wrong. But like when he goes to the Chiefs, like they have that little throwback play and he goes and gets it. I swear, like it's the same role he had with the Broncos, but those 2 plays a game where he gets the ball and just goes for like 11 yards on a third down or something, they're just brutal to watch somewhere else.
I mean, you knew it was going to happen, though.
You did.
Like, and that's the fear of anyone signing with the Chiefs. That's why, like, oh, man, Justin Simmons landed in a great spot because Broncos fans can cheer for him. He can still pick off Patrick Mahomes like he did this year. But, gosh, he would have really succeeded in Kansas City, and that's why I was like, please don't go there. We want to root for you. Samaje, on the other hand, like, I don't know. He was a rental. He was here for 1 season.
Wow.
I don't think he's loved by Broncos. I don't think he's hated by Broncos country. I don't think he's loved by Broncos country. So I don't think it hurts as much.
He's loved by me. Not anymore. But I mean, personally still.
Okay, so Todd, you mentioned like, why doesn't Pat get as much national love as some people? I think the reason is because he's too nice of a person. He's too good of a human being. Like today, he's out there doing community service instead of getting shine on our show right now. He's doing stuff behind the work, but then also he's not like Sauce where he wants the spotlight all the time. He's not like a lot of these players when you look at like cornerbacks and receivers, like divas. No, he just is elite behind the scenes and is Surtain in the shadows, maybe, and not asking for all this national attention like a lot of players do. And unfortunately, you kind of have to do that in order to get the national attention. If you're just a great player, they're going to overlook you for guys that create drama, for guys that are talking all the time. And unfortunately, this plays into future roles with people. Like, in order to get in the Hall of Fame, unless you're a first ballot guy, you probably want to go work in the national media to just have your name be relevant again. And it's a bummer that that's the case, but that's just the way the NFL works right now. Is you got to have these extra roles in order to get this shine, to get the recognition you deserve.
Yeah, they do like people with like big personalities. They want it to be that you're talking about stuff outside of football too. Like you said, it could be drama, could be anything, but he's just so dialed in and focused. He doesn't need all the fluff and the extra attention. He was raised in the NFL, so it's not like a big, there's no draw to it, like the publicity of it. Like, my dad was in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I think he's just
Right.
comes to work, he works hard, and I think that's why he's not like screaming and yelling at everybody and, saying crazy stuff on the internet.
Sometimes there's nothing wrong with the fluff, though. I
You
mean,
like the fluff?
we'll change the word. But I just like Aqib Talib. Like Aqib Talib was awesome. There's just different ways to go about it,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, but you shouldn't be punished for not being like that. And I think
No.
players are.
Really?
Yes,
Maybe.
for sure. Like Pat Surtain
Yeah,
right now.
maybe.
In fact,
I mean,
let's dive into the numbers because I think he's being disrespected here. Over at Bet365, use that code DNVR365 when you sign up. Where do you think he falls in the rankings?
Right now,
He's not one. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yep.
Right now, the game just happened. He was probably like not on the list to start. Probably would say he was like 13.
Yeah. Because
Right now?
cornerbacks don't win
Do
the
you know?
award. No, I don't.
So where would you guess? Todd's going 13.
Well, he'd be the top cornerback. I'd guess there's like 3 edge rushers. Maybe like you throw in like a Chris Jones, and then give me 7, 6. Give me 6.
Damn, you should have just stuck with your
Was it 7?
reasoning.
Damn it.
Nope, that wasn't your reasoning. Your
Oh.
reasoning was 3 edge rushers
I just estimated more.
and Chris Jones.
Yep.
So Pat's 5th.
Was I
Behind.
right about who's in front of him?
3 edge rushers
God damn it.
and Chris Jones. Pat is plus 1,600, which is he has risen to give the betting people credit. He has risen big time recently. Aiden Hutchinson, number 1, 6.5 sacks plus a 4.5 sack game. That helps. What really helps Pat is the huge game that he just had.
Yeah.
Two picks and a pick 6 there. So Aiden Hutchinson, the heavy favorite, plus 275. TJ Watt, just a massive household name, at plus 325. Chris Jones, plus 1,200. Nick Bosa, plus 1,200 as well. So Pat is getting credit as the number 1 cornerback in the NFL. Xavier McKinney, plus 1,800. So
Who's the next cornerback?
the next cornerback would be, oh man,
Because they just don't win.
you got to go far.
Oh,
man.
really far.
Derek Stingley, I believe, at
Wow.
12,500. I
Yeah.
think I might have missed one. There's a lot of people on this list.
So in 2019, Stephon Gilmore won. In 2009, Charles Woodson won. 1993, Rod Woodson won. Oh, no, Deion Sanders, 94. 93, Rod Woodson, who they list as a DB.
So not Darrell Revis.
No, Revis isn't on the list.
Champ Bailey should have won it in what was that? 05.
06.
He had 10 picks, I believe, and was just a difference
That's
maker.
crazy, yeah.
But you know who got it instead? A pass rusher because of sacks.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. So that's kind of where things stand right now. I think if Pat needs to continue to make plays. It's kind of something that Sean challenged him on earlier this season. If he does anything like let's say he does what he's done the first 5 games, he does that again, he'll be in the top 3.
For sure.
What do they say? For the Heisman race, you'll be in New York, meaning you'll be one of the finalists. That will be Pat. He'll end up with 6 interceptions on the season, by far a career high, and will likely be pushing for the most defensive touchdowns as well. So we're all pulling for Pat. Obviously, we absolutely love Pat, and we are going to have Pat on this show in the next few weeks. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Speaking of odds, guys, well, first, anything else that you guys want to talk about before we move on?
I feel like we should put $100 on the top 5 guys.
Oh.
because one of them will win the award.
Yeah.
And then I think it's this good money any way you slice it.
So then, if you put $100 on Aiden Hutchinson, T.J. Watt, Chris Jones, Nick Bosa, and Pat Surtain, you will lose money if Aiden Hutchinson wins.
Yes.
You'll lose money if T.J. Watt wins.
Yep. But you're only
You'll,
losing.
you'll win a decent amount if Chris Jones wins.
Yep.
And you'll win a decent amount if Nick Bosa wins, and you'd win a lot if Pat wins.
Yeah.
But
Chris
you're right.
Jones is surprisingly young, too. I always think I want to bet on that old man, but he's never as old as you think.
How old is he?
It's like 30.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he feels like he's like 36 now, like Kelsey and all them.
Well, what's the story? The Broncos. Who did the Broncos draft? Like
That's a
right in
dangerous
front of
road to
Chris
go down.
Jones. I know,
Yeah, he's 30.
but there is some connection with the
2016.
Broncos. 2016. Oh, this was
That's the Chubb draft, huh?
no, it was It's Paxton draft.
Oh. When did we get Chubb? 2017?
2018.
Oh, wow.
2017 was Bowles. Bowlesy.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Dang, it just flies by.
So Chris Jones was the 37th pick. The Broncos took Paxton with the 26th pick.
And so man, there is some like sort of Broncos connection here, or maybe it's just that they.
Oh, they traded away the 31st pick to go up and get Paxton Lynch.
Yeah. I think there's something else, but maybe that's just it. Is that there's a lot of bad ones, like Henry said.
Whenever you open that can of worms, you're not going to like what you find.
But like, man,
Just worms.
they could add Chris Jones with that 31st pick and just why did they have the 31st pick?
Because we were good.
Probably a
Back in
trade.
the
No,
day.
because they
2016. They won the Super Bowl.
No, that's what I'm saying. Why didn't they have the 32nd
Somebody
pick?
probably got it taken away. Yeah, they're only 31 in the first round.
Yeah, but that's my question.
Oh, Patriots. Deflategate.
Deflategate, they lost a first round pick.
They cheated and won a Super Bowl.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
that's quite a punishment there. And Tom
It's
Brady
not
spent it
enough.
for it. That was, I don't know. That's about as harsh of a punishment as there's
They
been in the
cheated
NFL.
and won a Super Bowl because of it. Like, that's the worst thing you can do is just steal a Super Bowl. There's nothing worse in the NFL.
I'll give the NFL a little credit there for really laying the hammer down. I totally forgot they took a first round pick away from them. Yeah. So okay. Where were we?
Oh, we're just at the Toyota Lounge.
Oh, we are in the Toyota Lounge. Let's get to some more futures odds of where the Broncos stand. But first, I want to give a shout out to our friends over at Game Time. The Chargers are coming to town this Sunday, and this is for the second spot in the AFC West. If the Chargers win, they take the slight lead on the Broncos. If the Broncos win, oh man, they have a strong hold on second place in the AFC West, just behind the Chiefs. And if you want to be there to boo Justin Herbert, to cheer on the Broncos defense, you got to check out our friends over at Game Time. And I'll tell you what, this stadium was the most rockin' it's been in years this past week, and I only think it's going to take a step up every single week that the Broncos get closer to making the playoffs. So I think this week is going to be electric. And if you want to be there, check out our friends over at Game Time. Use the code DNVR to get $20 off your tickets over at Game Time on your first purchase. And I just love Game Time. It has a Game Time guarantee. It has the best interface there, and I love the all-in pricing. If you click the all-in button, it's going to include all the fees, so you're not surprised when you get to the end and you're like, dang, these are almost double the price. I got to go back and choose cheaper seats because all the fees are crazy. No, they're not going to fool you with their prices over at Game Time, so make sure to download the app or go to gametime.co. Use that code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Download the Game Time app and use that code DNVR. Terms apply. Create an account and use DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game time.
Tuesday. Circle K is awesome. They have a whole bunch of snacks. Let's see, what was the last? Oh, we had those. They have the popcorn where half of it is cheese and half of it's like candy popcorn. No.
Caramel.
Caramel.
I don't say that word. Whenever you say that word, people, it just starts a fight, you know,
Oh,
because people are like, oh,
You're the one
it's
that's
caramel.
starting the fight right now. No,
No, see, which is just annoying.
you were the one that started the
well,
fight.
no, I just brought up. I was just saying why I
yeah,
don't
you
use
brought
that
it
word.
up. You started it.
It's just on a list of words
Oh,
that I just
my
don't even
goodness.
say. So it's just not worth it.
So you will never get a caramel apple.
I'll just go grab one. I'm not going to talk
Just
about
a
it.
Pointer.
I'm
Can
not.
I
I'm,
get that.
No,
yeah, exactly. So go. Can I have that apple?
Henry is the guy at Chipotle that
Yeah, I know. Weird, right? Exactly.
Chipotle.
Chipotle.
Chipotle. How do you want me to say it? Chipotle.
Chipotle.
Lay.
Chipotle.
Why would you say the E like that?
Chipotle. That's how it's spelled. Anyways, do you want to finish this and then we'll get back to the important
Sure.
stuff?
Yeah. Circle K is awesome. They've got a whole bunch of things that everybody will say. They're proud to be along for the ride on our Buff Stampede as they drive all around the country. It's free membership over there. You get a whole bunch of deals. The Inner Circle membership, you get 25 cents off a gallon for your next 5 fill-ups. Whole bunch of perks. Download the Circle K app. Sign up for Inner Circle for exclusive offers. New offers, purchase clubs, and sweepstakes are uploaded weekly.
So
I don't think we wrote that our best.
Shout out to our friends over at Bet365. Use that code DNVR365 when you sign up. I think Henry's that guy at Chipotle who reaches over the glass and points to what he wants then. If
No, I
he's
go
on-
to Illegal Pete's.
Oh, well, you're still the one doing that. In fact, at Illegal
No.
Pete's, they have a sign that says, don't do this.
Yeah, I'm not reaching over. There's no need. Those are all simple words.
Oh.
But no, I think you said it wrong, Zach.
Yeah,
It's Chipotle.
Chipotle.
I've actually never heard.
I'm
That-
telling you, there's a Spanish speaker at Chipotle. Like, don't worry about it. Yeah, somebody that speaks
I don't
fluent
know.
Spanish.
It's a Colorado company. I'm a Colorado native. Maybe I just know how to say it better.
It's a Mexican word though. It's a Mexican girl on it.
So say it
That's
for issue
strange.
here.
Chipotle.
That is not how Todd and Henry
He
were
did,
saying
he
it.
just-
Chipotle. I
He
mean,
just said it in a Spanish accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Chipotle.
Okay, let's dive in to these NFL futures odds. Let's start with the crazy one. Where do you guys think the Broncos stand in terms of Super Bowl odds right now?
Oh, they're pretty far down there. Yeah, they're pretty far down there. There's 32 teams in the league. I'd say they're probably right now 3-2. It changes every week, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe 20th.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll go 18th.
Todd was hotter, but still, you're going to be disappointed. 25th
Oh, dang.
best odds.
Yeah.
And right now they're like slated to be a playoff team, which we'll dive into in just a second. But I would have thought you guys are right. I don't think they would have lived up to their 3-2 record right now and where they stand in the rankings. I thought people would be a little harder on them. But 25th, you got to be kidding me. The Broncos are tied with a terrible Los Angeles Rams team at plus 8,000. A Miami Dolphins team with their third quarterback, who they brought in last week, who became their starter. Like, what?
But I think they're more likely to get Tua back and make a run. I mean, that'd be their case.
Potentially, they're just ahead of the 1-win Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yep.
I'm sure you have an issue with the way I said Jaguars.
No, you're all right.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, the disrespect. Now, am I saying go put tons of money on the Broncos to win the Super Bowl? No, but it's just crazy how disrespected the Broncos still are. I mean, I look at the teams that they're behind. They are way behind teams that they have beat this season. You look at the Jets, they're plus 2,800. They're going through their own issues, which we'll talk about in a second. They have double the odds of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who the Broncos beat. Let's see where the Raiders are. They actually do have better odds or worse odds? Better odds? The Raiders are at plus 20,000,
Okay.
which is the third worst in the NFL. I just wild.
I don't
What do
think
you
it's that wild.
Yeah, I don't know if it should be.
Being a 25th?
In terms
Yes.
of like likelihood to win the Super Bowl, yeah, because it's not just a ranking of the best teams. Like, as Jose said, like, there's never been a rookie quarterback who's won a Super Bowl. Like, there's just so many factors. Whereas, like, yeah, they beat the Jets. Also, the Jets have Aaron Rodgers. And I think to the average NFL fan, the chances of Aaron Rodgers just all of a sudden looking more like the real Aaron Rodgers and winning a Super Bowl, it's very unlikely, still probably more likely than the Broncos
We're
team.
seeing the real Aaron Rodgers right now.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
What do you not understand? 3 interceptions in the past 2 games. This is the real Aaron Rodgers.
No, I agree. I think he's washed and he sucks. But I mean,
That's the real Aaron
if he
Rodgers.
turns back the clock, then all of a sudden they have a chance. Same thing with the Rams. It's like you have Matthew Stafford, or like the Bucks. Yes, they beat the Bucks. Half that team just won a Super Bowl a handful of years ago. You know, like there's just, in terms of getting to the tippy top, it's tough. If this was a power ranking, I think there'd be reason to be upset.
But that's what I'm saying. This isn't the tippy top. I'm not arguing that the Broncos should be in the top 3. They're not
would be
in the
crazy.
bottom 8 right now. So I strongly disagree with you there.
Huh.
I think they should be in the middle of the pack. Again, I'm not arguing for them to be at the top. Just I think it's
Who
ridiculous.
should they be in front of?
They should be in front of. So they are tied with the Dolphins. They should be ahead of the Dolphins.
Well, okay. Do you agree? Because to me, I would probably say the Dolphins are more likely because if they get Tua back, we've seen what that offense can do.
They're talking about trading their best player right now in
Oh, yeah.
Tyreek Hill. That's the spot they're
But they
in.
haven't done it.
But
Again,
they're in that spot.
And I think the Broncos are in a much better spot. But when it comes to winning a Super Bowl, they just have like those elite pieces where if they get really lucky, it could all come together.
Well, the Broncos have the elite piece of the defense right now. And Todd, you know what an elite defense can do.
Yeah, I think the defense is great, and I'm happy that we're winning. But I don't.
So you're taking the Dolphins. You're
I
taking
just
the
don't think
Dolphins.
we're not poised to win a Super Bowl right now. Like,
But that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they should be this top team. Do you think whose odds would you take? I gave you $100. You putting it on the Broncos or the Dolphins?
He's just setting you up to make people
yeah,
mad.
I think he is because.
I know I'm asking you the question
No,
because
I know.
Henry's taking the Dolphins. Aren't
Yeah.
you? I don't want to put words.
So
in your
I mean,
mouth.
with Tua, I'm taking the Dolphins.
Well, you
without
don't
Tua.
know.
But that's what I'm saying. They
It's
don't
right
know
now.
either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right now.
I don't want Tua to come back, so I probably say the Broncos. I probably put
There
$100
we
on
go.
them.
Okay,
Pander.
the Broncos or the
But
Rams?
you have to think about it.
I'm taking the Rams.
Yeah.
Or,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm
There
taking
you
the
go.
Broncos.
You said it. You guys
Yeah,
heard it
you
loud
know
and
it's
clear.
right.
I misspoke.
And you have to
The
take
Rams
the
are
Rams.
a good team. They always find ways to win games and they'll squeak into the
Yeah.
playoffs.
They got Stafford. I'm not sure if either of the receivers is coming back anytime soon, but like they've done it before.
They did it last year.
They did it last year, but this isn't last year, as Sean Payton likes to tell us all the time.
Yeah.
The Rams are terrible. The Rams are really bad this year. I think they're 1-4. They're last place in the AFC or in the NFC South. They're awful. They're really bad this year. I'm taking the Broncos.
I think the Broncos are a better team. But just like the odds of what they could be in January.
So I give you $100.
Yeah, it's definitely the Rams.
My goodness. The Cardinals coming off a big win against 49ers.
Mm-hmm. Probably the Cardinals.
Okay, Henry.
Yeah.
There's nothing I trust about the Cardinals. Not
No.
one thing. I
But
trust.
this isn't a game of trust.
Yeah.
Trust
Yeah, it
doesn't
is.
matter
Yeah,
here.
it is. Yes,
it's
it is.
It's about the 1% for
yeah,
all these
it's
teams.
what do I trust to get this team to a Super Bowl more. Not do I trust it to happen this year, more. And I'm going, I trust Sean Payton.
If
to
you
do
have
it.
any trust in either team to make a Super Bowl, you're doing
I
something
don't think
wrong.
anybody trusts their coach.
That's
It's not a
not the
trust
conversation, Henry. It's who would you place it on if I gave you $100?
Yeah.
And
And
you'd
that's
say
why
Cardinals.
that's why it's just the team that has the upside. It's the team that has a chance that everything could click. That's why it doesn't matter the baseline. Like I think the Broncos are better than all these teams, but just if the pieces click, what is the ceiling? And then there's a slight part of like what are the odds they hit that ceiling? But that's just why with the rookie quarterback and all that,
When you do
I-
this,
it
though,
makes sense why they're
I
right
feel
there.
like it's only helping my case. We've seen what the Broncos defense is capable of.
Yeah.
And then if you're saying, okay, now if everything clicks, okay, if Bo Nix turns into this guy that Sean Payton thinks he is, that's clicking right there. And boom, now you have an elite offense with an elite defense.
But that's why they go with the Jets and say to them that's far more likely that Aaron
But I'm
Rodgers is an
asking
elite
you.
quarterback.
I'm asking you right
Well,
now.
I think that's right.
And so that's why we're doing this exercise. You
Exactly.
asked me who I would put ahead of them, and I'm going through this list,
Yeah.
and I'm still putting the Broncos ahead of these teams.
Okay.
And I'm asking you
Go
if you
ahead.
are.
No.
Okay. Cardinals,
Probably taking the Cardinals.
Colts. This is a team to me that is so far from their expectations right now.
Yeah.
I've only been
Yeah.
disappointed in them.
That is a tough one.
I would personally go Broncos, even though they've got
Joey?
Joe Flacco.
Joey,
I know.
you never know what Joey could do. He can go
They
on a
just
tear.
lost to the Jaguars and gave them their first win this year.
Yeah,
I'm going Broncos personally.
that one's a toss-up.
And now here's where we get into maybe interesting territory. The Chargers. I like what Harbaugh's doing, unfortunately. This week we'll decide it maybe.
Yeah.
Who we'd go with. And I think I'm taking the Broncos to win this game. So I'll go Broncos here.
It's funny for me because I feel like there are true contenders and there's a lot of
Exactly.
pretenders. I feel like they should probably have odds for like the top 10 teams and everybody else could be just tied.
That's fair. I see what you're saying.
You know?
Yeah. Because, and like I said, I'm not trying to make the case that the Broncos should be a favorite for this. But, like, I'll just go through really quick. I put the Broncos above the Bears. I put the Broncos above the Steelers right now. The Broncos beat the Bucs in their home. So I go Broncos. Saints, we'll find out in a couple of weeks. But I don't like the way the Saints are looking right now. Derek Carr just went down. They
That
take
was
these
stupid.
into account right now. And then you get to Seahawks, Bengals, Commanders, Jets, Falcons. Sure, put them right below those teams. But I just went through like 10 teams. So that's why I think they're being disrespected. But you guys aren't rolling with me, which is fine.
No, I agree with Hank on this one. If it's a power ranking, I think you put them right where you
Totally.
said. But I just think these are like odds to win the Super Bowl. And I think the mindset is the Rams are a better team and they're more proven, and other teams are better teams and they're more proven to be able to get to the Super Bowl than the Broncos are. Like, we're doing good. We're doing really good. But we've done it for 5 games, as opposed to some teams have been doing it for season after season and finding a way to win games, finding ways to get to the playoffs, and we just haven't been there yet.
Yeah, I mean, I could go through a lot of these teams, and a lot of these teams haven't been doing it for seasons and seasons either, though.
The Jaguars have been better than the Broncos for a couple years.
Yeah.
The Bucs have been better than the Broncos for a couple years. The Chargers have been better than the Broncos for a couple years. I don't know if there's a team. I don't know if there's a team that hasn't been better than the Broncos. The Broncos have been really bad.
They've been pretty rough.
We've been really bad for a while.
They've
It's
been
okay.
pretty rough.
It's okay to talk about it now because we're not that
Exactly.
old team.
They're
But
where they should
it's
be.
been rough for a while.
They're in good shape.
You
Like,
know?
if they hold their spot, they're making the playoffs. Like, we'll probably get to the playoff odds, but like they're in good shape overall. It's just like rookie quarterbacks, teams in this position just don't win Super Bowls.
So you can't believe that the Commanders are in the top 10.
No, I mean it's crazy, but you look at what they're doing, and they've just been unstoppable.
The Broncos are on a 3-game win streak. They've been unstoppable these past 3 games.
There's just a difference, though. Like when you have when Jaden
You're
Daniels,
playing by different rules when you're talking about the Broncos.
I don't think I am. I don't think
It's an
I
eye
am.
test
The eye
thing.
test.
Yeah, the eye test.
Shout
Well, I
out-
mean, like,
shout out
Jaden
Beauchamp
Daniels-
Moreno.
I like the 34-18 eye test that the Broncos just had this past weekend.
Okay.
2 out of 5 weeks.
2 out of 5 weeks, against the Bucs team on the road, and then they helped fire Robert Salah. Let's get to that. But really quick, let's get to the playoff odds. You hear last week, you brought up the Broncos playoff odds to make the playoffs, and I think it had fallen from plus 700 to, when you said it last week, I think it was plus 350. And I said right then, like, you got to take the odds for that. If you think the Broncos are going to make it, their odds are only going to get worse. And this week, they've dipped below plus 200. Plus 190 is the odds for the Broncos to make the playoffs. They started with the second worst odds to make the playoffs of any team in the NFL. I think they were only behind the Patriots. Or the Patriots and the Panthers. So the third worst odds to make the playoffs. Now they're plus 190. So in that respect, the Broncos are getting some love. People are starting to recognize them. Now, they're still not favored to make the playoffs, but they dip below 200. One more win, 4-2. I bet they're going to be right around plus 100. That's going to be even.
Yeah, if you had taken that bet a couple weeks ago, you should be very happy with what the Broncos have done this far. I think it's sustainable. I think our defense is definitely sustainable. I just wonder if we are sustainable enough to put Bo in as good as a field position as he had last week.
Yep.
Like, I think we need to start in plus territory every drive, and I don't know if we can.
Yep.
But when we do, I think we're one of the best teams in the league.
Yep. The offense is still a work in progress.
Yes.
And I think you've seen positive signs at different points. The defense is in great shape. You just need the offense to keep coming along and the defense to keep doing what it's doing, and you're in good shape. I'm mostly just excited because I have the Broncos over 5.5 wins, over 6.5 wins, over 7.5 wins, over 8.5 wins, over 9.5 wins,
Dang.
and to make the playoffs and to win the AFC West.
Wow.
And so if things keep going well, then it's just going to be like a weekly little bump to the bank account.
A big bump to the bank
I'm pretty
account.
fired up about that.
Right now, Broncos over under 7.5 wins. So if you want to get in on that, you can take the over at 7.5 right now as well. And Henry, if you hit on those, you might want to check our friends over at Premier
yes.
Members Credit Union out to put that money in a safe spot. And most Americans are living paycheck to paycheck right now. And if you're one of them, you got to check out Premier Members Credit Union. They're a financial institution based right here in Colorado with PMCU. You get local branches, friendly tellers, and the tools you need to save smarter, like a reverse tier money market. It's the account you need to get ahead and stay ahead in this economy. This is an organization that serves the community and the Colorado community in particular, and we are just like that. We love supporting the Colorado community and small businesses, and whatever your goals are, they can help. PMCU is all about creating a better banking experience for their community, so why not see what they can do for you? Check out becomepremier.com to learn more. That's becomepremier.com to learn more.
And check out Bet365. I use Bet365 a lot. I screwed up. I left the weekend. I was up like a small amount of money, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna put that all on the Saints money line, because it's 2-1 odds, and I don't want to be cheering for the Chiefs anyway. And so that didn't hit, which was sad. But hockey's back today. Baseball playoffs are going today. There's a lot of money to be made. And obviously, all these lines that we had today were from Bet365. Whole bunch of great stuff. Over 10,000 boosts per month. They boost a whole bunch of really specific things, which is a lot of fun. And we actually have our own boost for every Broncos game, so make sure you keep an eye out for those. If you want to sign up, there are 2 different bonuses you can take advantage of. The first is a bet and get offer where you deposit $10, you get make a bet of $5, and you get $200 in bonus bets. Or you can take the first bet safety net offer, where you place a bet up to $1,000. If the qualifying bet loses, you receive a match refund and bonus bets. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
And shout out to Bet365. Use that code DNVR365 that Henry just told you about. All right, guys. Robert Salah, Jets head coach, fired this morning. Your initial reaction?
I think it had to be done. You know, whatever was going on in that building wasn't working out for the Jets organization. I'm not saying he's a bad coach or anything, but just the formula they had wasn't working. So I'm not saying I'm surprised. I guess I'm surprised that they did it after week 5, but I thought it was coming maybe.
If you have a problem, you have to get in front of it. And so, like, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it now and see if you can change things and try to salvage the season. So I think it makes sense. I think, again, just given the whole situation with Rodgers and Hackett and all that sort of stuff, like, it probably wasn't Salah's. He kind of got screwed over by those guys. But the truth is, you gave all that money to Aaron Rodgers. That's where you're invested. You're not invested in the head coach. So if you have to pick one or the other, it was pretty obvious that it was going to be the coach that was going to go. And I mean, it had been 3.5 years, and there'd been literally nothing to show for it. So there is that as well. You can't feel too bad.
Just talk about massive dysfunction in an organization. Like, the reason you are in this spot is because of Aaron Rodgers. Like, last year he got hurt. It's not his fault. That's also not Robert Salah's fault that he got hurt there. So you kind of just wash that away. Well, Aaron Rodgers has thrown 3 picks in the past 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, he wasn't able to put up more than 9 points to beat the Broncos. In week 1, didn't they have they lost. They gave the Patriots only win of the season. Right now, the Patriots have the number 1 draft pick if the season were to end right now. And Aaron Rodgers lost to that team right there because he wasn't able to get his offense going. It's the offense that's the problem. The Jets, Robert Saleh is the defensive mind. The Jets are giving up the fewest yards per play in the NFL. The Jets are giving up the 6th fewest points per game in the NFL. And because this organization doesn't know how to handle Aaron Rodgers, they're trying to fix it somehow. and they're going after the head coach. It's just massive dysfunction because of Aaron Rodgers. In my opinion, I don't think this is going to help at all. But I agree. Like, I guess they had to do something. And what are you going to do? Fire Nathaniel Hackett to get the offense going? No, because Aaron Rodgers isn't going to let you do that. So what do? I guess you let go of the guy that Aaron Rodgers is going to let you let go of. And it's so funny seeing the reports come out right now that this came purely from ownership. Rodgers had nothing to do with it. Everyone sees right through that, right?
I don't know. I feel like it is his fault. If you can't handle the quarterback, you're the head coach. You have to be able to handle the quarterback. You have to be able to manage him. And even Bill Belichick is not an offensive mind, but he knew how to, handle Tom Brady and whatever he was going through, as well as handle the defense. Like, you're the CEO of this organization. There should be no employee. Doesn't matter his age. It doesn't matter how long he's been our employee. There should be nobody that you can't handle and can't oversee and can't do a good job corralling, or else you got to go.
But this isn't the first time it's happened with Rodgers. This happened in Green Bay.
Yeah.
And he forced his way out.
Yeah,
and he forced his way out. So, no, but that's what I'm saying. He had to go.
Yeah.
So now, that's what I'm saying. It's clearly Aaron's thing.
Yep.
He has to go, but that's not what they did. They didn't ship Aaron out. They shipped the head coach out.
You're more tied to him. You gave him all that money. Like, that's just the modern NFL. And it's a lot easier. It's not like it's Sean McVay who's the coach there. It's Robert Salah who, again, it's been 3.5 years and the defense has been pretty good. The rest of it, not so much. And he's caught some bad breaks. But yeah, I mean, if he couldn't handle the quarterback, again, he decided to go to Egypt instead of going to minicamp. And
did Salah decide that?
No, but Salah didn't kick his ass and say no, you're not getting away with this.
Yeah, they fined him. They said this isn't acceptable. We're not excusing
but that's just the
your
standard fine.
Well, what should Robert Salah do? Get on the plane and hold Aaron Rodgers in the United States?
The point is, whatever it was, it didn't work. He did not find the answers. And again, it's tough to find the answers with Aaron Rodgers. But when you can't control the quarterback, then you wind up in a situation where it's the coach or the quarterback goes, and you're giving $50 million or whatever to the quarterback. So, bye, Rob. They probably won't even miss him, honestly.
I don't know. I mean, if he's the defensive guy and the defense is doing what they're doing,
fine, yeah.
I just think this shows how much dysfunction there is by having a guy. And
definitely,
honestly, maybe the Broncos. I know they got Russell Wilson instead. Maybe the Broncos avoided something just as bad as the Russell Wilson saga was by not getting Aaron Rodgers. Because obviously, when the Broncos hired Nathaniel Hackett, there was a big connection there. Nathaniel Hackett is Aaron Rodgers' guy. And the hope was that was going to happen. 2 hours before the Broncos traded for Russell Wilson, the news came down that Aaron Rodgers was staying in Green Bay and signing an extension. Maybe the Broncos actually avoided an even bigger headache than they did with Russell Wilson, or an equal headache than they did with Russell Wilson, because Rodgers has, in terms of actually accomplishing something, he's accomplished nothing more than what the Broncos have or haven't done when they got Russell Wilson. The first year the Broncos got Russell Wilson, the Packers did not make the playoffs. The next year, when the Broncos had Russell Wilson last year and they won 8-9, they went 8-9. Rodgers got hurt that second season. This year, the Jets, who a lot of people had as a Super Bowl darling, are now on the outside looking in, just fired their head coach.
Yeah. He hasn't had a great 3-year stretch.
No.
I still think it would have been better to have him here. I just feel like it would have worked out differently. I don't know why.
There's at least a chance.
Maybe a hope.
Yeah.
But I still think it's the head coach's fault. No matter if you're in Green Bay or you're in New York, you got to be able to talk to your players and connect with your players and get them to understand where you're coming from and be able to build that bridge. I mean, just like Phil Jackson, you may have a Michael Jordan, but you may almost also have a Dennis Rodman, and you have a Scottie Pippen. Those are all very 3 different individuals, and you got to be able to connect with all of them. And I think the most important connection is the head coach and quarterback. Maybe if Aaron's getting on a plane in Egypt, all right, we're both going to Egypt then.
Yeah.
I'll let somebody else handle the rest of the team.
What?
I'm not saying he had to do that, but he has to find a way to connect with him and get him on the same page as him. Because if not, it's going to end up like how it ended up.
Exactly. Because it's
my gosh,
maybe we take the whole team to Egypt. I don't know.
Aaron Rodgers is an
figure this out.
adult. You shouldn't
Yeah.
have to. He should be able to be held accountable for his job.
There's tons of
and
babies.
You should say,
I've played with babies before.
well,
Yeah.
you should be able to count on them to sign up, though. I'm sure that those babies that you're talking about showed up for mandatory minicamp,
I don't know.
Again,
especially at the quarterback position.
Have
No,
you
I'm not saying anybody specifically, especially not the quarterback wasn't a baby, but like, I just think you got to figure out how to connect with your players, man.
Oh my
Everybody's
gosh!
different.
Have you
some,
seen
have some
Avatar?
accountability for the players.
Have you
Yeah.
seen Avatar? So they have like those big flying things. Aaron Rodgers is like one of those, and Robert Saleh's job was to find a way to like connect his little tail to the other guy's tail. He had to
I
like
get what you're
wrangle him
saying,
and like
yes.
plug, and it's like a tough thing to do. Robert wasn't able to do it, and it's
no,
like a hard
it's
job.
clearly an impossible.
It's
thing
also
to
like
do.
the chat saying Hackett's the one running the offense and he still has a job.
Hackett's not the one running the offense. Aaron Rodgers
Yeah.
is the one running the offense. You're absolutely crazy if you think Hackett's running the
Yeah.
offense. Now, Hackett, clearly probably isn't helping much at all. But Aaron Rodgers is running the New York Jets, and clearly he doesn't know how to do that because
Yeah.
it is a disaster
But-
right
It's
there.
really
So since the start of the 2021 season, the Broncos are 23-33. That's when Robert Saleh took over. The Jets are 20-36. Like, if you do that poorly for a year and for 3.5 years, like this is kind of just what happens.
Yeah.
Again, he's caught tough breaks, but it happens. Like you got to find a way to win, and he didn't. So you can't feel too bad.
Let's hope that this new coaching change doesn't help the Jets for the long term, because right now the Broncos are sitting as the 6th seed in the AFC, the second wild card team. Kansas City's the 1, Houston's the 2, Baltimore's the 3, Buffalo's the 4. The Steelers are the 5, Broncos are at 6, and the Chargers are at 7. So the AFC West starting to come
Always the
around
best.
and be that very difficult division. But then the Jets are sitting as the 8th seed right there. Broncos do have that win over them, which is huge, and that's an additional AFC win that they have over them. So that's big. Let's just hope that let's hope I'm right here and that it's an Aaron Rodgers issue and they don't get things turned around here. Because if not, man, that eliminates them. Then you're looking at the other teams kind of in the wild card push right now. The Raiders, they're in as much disarray as any team in the NFL. The Dolphins don't have a quarterback. The Colts are at 2-3. Again, Anthony Richardson's hurt, and they just lost to the Jags, gave the Jags their first win. And then every other team in the AFC has one win. I think the Broncos are in a great spot to not only within themselves to make a playoff push, but then looking around, if the Jets aren't going to turn it around and Tua doesn't save the Dolphins, there's no one else. Unless the Bengals make a drastic turnaround at 1-4, which they're capable of with the team they have. But guys, the Bengals are currently the 16th seed in the AFC.
Yeah.
The worst team in the AFC, according to the rankings, and just where they sit. So Broncos are in a fantastic spot to make a real playoff push right now.
Yeah, I think we're sitting pretty. It just has to be consistent play by us. And I think the longer that you go, the more you're going to need the offense to step up and do their part. Because 15, like, our offense showed up and made plays when they needed to. They weren't bottom of the barrel offense. They made some plays when they needed to. And I just think that's what it has to be for the entire year. And so I think we're in a good position. I think things are getting better week in and week out. I think the playmakers are beginning to make plays because that's what we need. I think we're going to have similar game plans. I don't think we're going to have too many shots downfield. I think most of the throws are going to be at the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage, or within 4 or 5 yards. And we're going to need guys to continue to turn those into big plays. So I'm all for it, man. I'm all for the Broncos making the playoffs.
Yeah, and they'll be in great position if they win this week. Then you're 4-2, and all of a sudden, like, everything really is in front of you. I think this would be the latest in the season they've been 2 games over 500 since 2016, and that's just a huge hurdle to get over, to have that sort of situation. Because as much as you'd love to keep winning from there, the truth is, like, if you're 4-2. You could blow 2 games and you're still right there. It isn't what you'd want to happen, but for the first time in forever, they just have a little bit of breathing room. Like, you go 500 the rest of the way, you think you're in the playoffs, and that's It's just a very different situation than they've been in. But the key is actually beating the Chargers on Sunday.
We got two quick super chats to hit. Let's hit them very quick. Three. First one coming in from Mo Jones, who says, I cannot read that.
Nope.
Who says, had to show love, you guys. Had me use Bet365, and with my first bonus bet, I hit for $3K. Big props to the cast. Love from DC. Huge Denver fan. Todd, you were a dog. Broncos are looking like something again.
I was
Congratulations. Huge hit.
Yeah, it's big time.
Yo Mama Llama says, LFB boys love the return of PS Tuesdays. Man, single-handedly reversed the game and potential season. Also, shout out to Todd. Great job for post-game, my man.
Appreciate it, my man. It's going to be great. We're going to have some more guests on this week. So,
Ooh, do you know
check us
who?
out.
And
Can you
Yeah, I'm
tease
not
who?
saying
to
it.
tease. And
I don't want to tease, and then,
Okay.
I don't want to.
And then Drake R chimes in and says, loving the big Knicks energy from our QB. Much love to the 303 from the 808. Thank you, Drake. We appreciate y'all. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Hit us with a thumbs up. We'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m.
We all silly like the mayor.